70B or 32B, like the BBS was fine, but the issue is that it comes with a oh,
we are just using LangGraph with OpenAI.
yeah, LangGraph sounds good. Honestly, I want script LangGraph, but I think for agents it's fine. OpenAI API and the signature, but LangGraph sounds good.
Yeah, but LangGraph, I think it makes things easy instead of you are like
True, true.
but yeah, it's good to know like agents from scratch.
Yeah. Just
You went through the new course that Hugging Face released with AI agents.
no. Oh, yeah, there's a new library, right?
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
Like you read through the code, like the like the library and
They have a course.
oh, the agents course.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that one yet. There's no read out of it, sorry.
Yeah, they give you like an entire overview.
I saw that RL one was pretty good.
I haven't seen the other one.
But the shit, the RL one is that requires
I can get it.
like yeah, it requires you to like compile some stuff, so you cannot really work out like requires you to
I will sign one of the same course
Hmm?
next semester.
This time I need you to help me tell the speakers to this shit.
Okay.
Clip it.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I repeat? Then I'll set up the live transcription.
Oh.
we just show them this whole sign, then we all can't just type it. Oh, I can use the text. Yeah, there's a text mobile. I'm sorry, I didn't like I walk around and then I see you face on there. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming early. My name is Jiaqi. I'll be hosting today's event. As the reward for coming early, right, you can be the first to try our new speech transcription app. So if you go scan this QR code here, what you're gonna see is the transcription of everything I'm saying into this microphone, in real time. So it's kind of like the YouTube live captioning, but then it's happening like in real time as people are speaking. So throughout today's series of talks, we will first of all we will have this on YouTube. So even after the show, you can. Oh, we need both. Sorry. Okay, 2 microphones. Okay. So after the show, you can go to YouTube and look for the live stream. But at the same time, you can also check out our transcription. So this transcription is made by Daniel Ching over here, and Raj, who is not here yet. And he will talk about it at the end of the show today. Yeah, so feel free to check the quality of our transcription. And I think it also does summary at the same time. Yeah, so it also summarizes as we are speaking, so you can get like the key points that the speakers have made. So I think it's pretty fun. So yeah, for those who just came in, the QR code will show you a live transcription of today's event. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Feel free to chat among yourselves. You can ask if you have any questions about this, but we will have a presentation about the technology at the last presentation. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Feel free to. Yeah. I'm gonna go away now. Yeah. Actually, is it working? Is this transcribing me? Can I see? Oh, nice. Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah, and hopefully you guys get to see it before it probably won't break. Yeah, but we can never guarantee. Yeah. Is running on your laptop?
It's running on that one.
That one. Okay. Wow, it's doing a lot of work. Yeah.
This transcription thing,
Yeah.
to use it on
Doing.
the days.
Yeah. This is one of the demos.
But not just that, because later on after the demo, right, there is a proper speech by
Oh. Okay.
Prof. Lin San,
Uh-huh.
keynotes.
Uh-huh.
Then it'll be interesting to
Transcribe it and
it.
summarize. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
We can work with the sound guys to hook the sound mixer into our laptop. Yeah, we will come early. We can talk to the sound guys. The ideal is that we plug into the mixer board lah.
Ideally,
Yeah.
you get to see how
Oh, actually everybody is listening into this. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting.
Of course. Yeah. In fact, actually, we might want to translate also. So by next week we will have translation. Yeah. So because once you transcribe, it's trivial to translate. So not trivial lah, but we translate to all the 4大语言, you know. Yeah.
Potentially very useful.
Actually, can I see? 如果突然间开始讲中文，你会 transcribe 吗？哇！哎 ，dude, this thing is doing Chinese also 哎。你看啊，如果我突然间讲中文啊，它其实可以帮我 translate 哎。Yeah, you look.
Built into the whisper.
I didn't know 啊，hello 啊，今天我们要讲一些AI research 的东西。
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, guys, we just found a new capability. Huh? Oh yeah, actually translate my Chinese into English. Yeah. So scan the QR code, and this is like our live transcription app. So basically all this is doing is sending the microphone to a Whisper model running on our server, and then if you go to the website, you can just see the transcription happening in real time.
Okay, cool. Let me try it out.
Yeah. So throughout today's show, we will have the live transcription running.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, but it understands Chinese.
I mean, it's a whisper small.
Hello, 你会说中文吗 Is this still running? No, I don't know. Okay, anyway. Is it going to YouTube? Is the microphone going to YouTube?
Should be.
Oh no. Do you want to test your situation? It's just going to be a USB. Yeah, so you got HDMI, right? So you can just
Wait, sorry. Oh, I'll use the. Wait. Oh, okay.
yeah, you have HDMI.
I just realized I have.
Yeah, MacBook Pro. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool. Alright.
Okay, so you have like 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So overall it's going to be 10 minutes long, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to use some time for Q&A, then you can. is it the number of people using it,
It might be like
or number of simultaneous connections? So right now we have no idea whether it is because I'm talking too fast. It can't be because I'm talking too fast.
no,
It's a
probably
fix.
like a simultaneous connection issue.
And this is
Because the ngrok Freetail only supports like X number.
oh.
Like, I think if it overloads, then I don't know whether it would stop the local host process as well.
Okay. So how about we just like keep the number of people with the QR code down to whoever is right here right now, and everybody else doesn't get to see the QR code. Actually, how about okay, shall we stress test this one last time before the event starts, and then we can see if it.
But the thing is that if you stress test it, then I will have to reload. Like, as in reload, then people
Okay.
they need to like I don't know, exit the end.
Okay, so whoever has the QR code has the QR code, and whoever doesn't just doesn't, and then we just pray that the thing is alive. Okay, yeah, okay. So right after like the beginning of the show, we will just turn it off. Yeah, we'll just turn off the QR code. Yeah. Okay. Oh, is there people online? Are like online people screening the thing also?
I think so, maybe.
Okay. I'm just gonna stand here and block the block the camera.
No, it's fine. I don't think it's that many anymore.
Okay. Okay, wait, I need to set the slides up on this one. That's what I need. Slides on your...
Yes, I do. You want me to send it to yours?
No, just use yours.
Because it might be cleaner, because I don't know, I'm using like Adobe and I'm trying to figure out like how to fuck. Up to you. I can send it over.
What's wrong with it?
As in, like they'll have all these shit.
Can you just export as PDF?
It's a PDF.
Is it PDF, then it should be fine, right?
As in,
Does it not?
as in like, how do you present like Adobe?
Just like that, no?
Or as in like they're fine with like all the nonsense aside. I don't know how to hide headers. I mean, I guess we could just be like that.
Wait, can you not open this in Chrome? Open this in Chrome.
No. I don't think so.
Oh. Can we check?
You can check.
You can also move one seat if you are really worried. That last year this was Nicole's. Last month it was Nicole's seat. Yeah. We can just do that. Yeah. Sorry. You're gonna. Are you gonna start? Yeah.
Can I just load this? Should I just load this? I'm not going to load it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'll pause it.
you want us to do the self-intro thing first, or you want to do it? Okay. Perfect.
Hi, I'm Pasna, UX researcher mostly in the fintech space, now trying to build cool automations for use cases.
Hi, my name is Max, and I'm an AI founder focusing on the travel industry.
Hi, I'm Darius. So I work at Continental Automotive. I develop products for autonomous driving and for safety vehicles.
Hi, I'm Felix. I'm a business owner in Dubai, and we are into AI development, and I'm here to make connections.
Hello everyone, I'm Kennis. We are build a Web3 payment solution and AI application for our company.
Hi, I'm Sicha. I'm a product manager.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a software engineer. Coming here to see if AI can replace our job.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. So I build a lot of AI applications. I will be talking later.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'm a software engineer at Google, and I'm currently working on machine learning and data infrastructure pipelines.
Hi everyone, I'm Lavanya. I'm currently incoming year 3 computing student at NUS, and this summer I'm actually doing research on AI for cybersecurity.
Hi everyone, I'm Pratyul. I am presenting today on work on debate with language models. I'm an incoming year 3 student, and I'm looking to find GPUs.
Hello, I'm Min. I work for a YC startup that evaluates AI agents. So see how well they can build factories, make money autonomously, and control robots. That's the stuff I'm in charge of. Before that, I built AI music tools for some record labels, and I'm a SMU year 3 undergrad. So.
Hey, I'm Mehdi, CTO in a B2B supply chain company where we try to apply AI to enhance the supply chain.
Hi, I'm Jiwan. I'm a designer.
Hello, I'm James. I am a solution architect, so I'm looking for a way to improve my job.
I'm Charles. I work in a risk advisory company, looking how we can embed AI in the regulatory tech compliance space.
Hi everyone, I'm Daryl. I'm a software engineer, so working on some side projects with AI. Thank you.
curious about AI, but more interested in how TCM actually can be integrated with AI.
Hello, my name is Vitaly. I'm building conversations AI agents. My name is Jiayu. I'm a CEO at a generative AI startup.
Hi everyone, I'm Jiayu and I'm a PM in an AI startup.
Hi, Henry. Work at a data infrastructure company focused on building compliance solutions for agentic AI startups.
Hello, welcome. Hello everyone, I'm Haina. I used to work for a Duolingo marketing for 7 years, and now I'm doing my marketing startup agency, helping the great products to reach broader audience.
Hello everyone, I'm Jessica, self-taught programmer turned attempting agentic AI, and I still have great love for arts and culture, which is where I come from, so looking to see how I can combine those.
Hi everyone, I'm Joven. I'm just a student and I'm here to learn more about AI.
Hi everyone, I'm Masako. I'm working for IT Farm. I'm also here to learn about Singapore AI Showcase today.
Hi, I'm Taha. I'm a co-founder of a new SaaS startup.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm a software engineer at Meta, and I'm an AI enthusiast as well.
Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm currently building Nudge Club to encourage people to live intentionally and to see how AI can be incorporated into this.
Hi, I'm David. I'm a research assistant at NUS in cognitive neuroscience.
Hi, I'm Kim. I just wondering from AI industry.
Hi, I'm Darwin. I run a startup that helps AI vendors collect synthetic data and preference data as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Gerard. I'm a security researcher.
Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm doing business development at Menlo.
Hi everyone, I'm Joshua and I work on robotics at Menlo as well.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a founder. I'm bringing agentic AI to SMEs.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'm just trying to learn more about AI.
Hi, I'm Joel, an incoming university student, and here to learn more about AI as well.
Hi, I'm Abigail, PDM in Microsoft. So just curious about the adoption and some use cases on AI.
I am Ganesh, a software engineer at a startup here, looking to see how AI can be used for a B2B marketplace.
Hi, I'm Xintong, year 3 at NUS, and I'm here to get inspired by everyone today. Hello, I'm Shing, also a year 3 business analytics student from NUS.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm focused on AI security testing and compliance audit.
Hi, my name is Kevin also. I just take over. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to hijack the session for, my name is Kevin. I'm a librarian at the National Library Board, and I'm the one that's working with Mango to bring all these showcases here. Yeah, so on behalf of the National Library Board, thank you very much for taking the time off in the evening to come here on a weekday, no less. Yeah, so just a very quick show of hands, because I'm a librarian and I like collecting information, right? How many of you have, apart from these AI showcases and the past money AI showcases, how many of you have actually stepped into the library for your own, to use our spaces, to grow a book or such things? So the rest, no? No? Okay, yeah, this is kind of what I expected basically. So the thing is that I'm just here to just kind of sell what I'm trying to do. So at the National Library Board, at the National Library specifically, you might be wondering how come this kind of events happen. It's a bit unusual compared to the past public library kind of talks for children, talks for families and so on. But here at the National Library is something new we're trying to do. We're trying to bring professionals just like yourself to kind of connect with the community at large. So you've heard from everyone, you've seen CEOs, you've seen founders, you've seen engineers, but you've also seen students and people who are just generally interested in AI. And the National Library is trying to be this kind of third space where the community can come together, share freely what they are working on, what they're learning about. And for those who are just interested in AI, they don't need to be practitioners, they just might be delving into it. It's just a way for them to connect with the community in a way that's kind of barrier free. You don't need to be an engineer, you don't need to have a master's in AI. Okay. Just come and learn, just come and hear from each other, chit chat and find out more. So I'm very happy and very grateful that Menlo has come up to National Library to kind of work with us for this. And I'm really hopeful and enthusiastic and optimistic about what these showcases can show
We should probably
to
turn it off
Singapore,
for the
show
when we
what
turn off the
Singapore
live
can
stream.
bring to the AI community at large. So without further ado, I'll hand the time back to
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, the National Library has been like a great supporter of this event, and we wouldn't be able to do this without the support of NLB. So like really grateful for all the support that Kevin has given us. Okay, so without further ado, we're here to listen to the lightning talks. So I will have our first speaker, Odin from ARM, right? And ARM, I think, needs no introduction. Okay, yeah. It runs on all of our devices, like in the smartphones, and it's like really efficient processors. And Odin will tell us more about the future of computing. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Oh, great. Okay.
It's off. It's off.
Okay.
It's off. Okay.
Hello everyone, so it's Odin. So I'm the principal solution architect. So I'm based in Cambridge. So I come to Asia for the Computex. Have anyone heard of Computex? It's last week that a lot of Jason, yeah. So I went to the Taiwan for the Computex, and some company asked me to extend my trip to the Singapore. So I expect I can meet up with some of the government, but it's a surprise for me. I think so many different type of the AI, the interesting here. So in that, so I want to give 10 minutes to share what's our view about AI. So all I talk is about open source. It's nothing about the IP license. It's nothing about the loyalty. It's all about how the software developer they can use the ARM as a platform to deploy the AI in the future. Does that make sense? Okay. So I just want to let you know. So maybe it's not the original the Singapore showcase, but it's some of the ecosystem globally. I want to bring this use case to make you understand. So we have a phone, right? We have the tablet. We have the vehicle. We have the TV. We have a lot of computing platform. It's building based on ARM. For example, if you have the smartphone, that's an ARM. If you have the IVI in your vehicle, that's an ARM. If you have the server, it's a lot of functions like NRS, like is the Graviton or like Microsoft. They have a server based on ARM. So we see that with the trends, a lot of different kind of vertical they start using the ARM. So that's some of the market number. I will just skip that one, so it doesn't mean important. Okay, but we see that there will be a lot of challenges for the software developer. If you are the software developer, you are facing a certain of the challenge. For example, you have a different type of the hardware platform. You may have the platform from the MediaTek. You may have a platform from the Qualcomm. You may have a platform from Rockchip. You may have a platform from like the Renesas. These are from the different regions, and they both are the content agent device, but both can run on Linux.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Akash. Okay, so our next speaker is Kemi, who will be talking to us about a very interesting new application for AI, which is global mobility. And actually, this is something that's quite close at heart because I became a software engineer because I thought I could be a digital nomad. I wanted to go around the world and like work in different places. And I think Schooly solves one of the biggest problems now, which is immigration. Right. So, Kemi.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I will not be as smart as those speakers earlier, so because I'm not technical. So thank you very much for having me. My name is Kemi. I'm the founder of Schooly. So what we do is basically to remove all the pain points in immigration space. I know in the room some of us could be an immigrant to Singapore or to other part of the world. Earlier speaker said he was from San Francisco. I'm from Canada, so you can be an immigrant to any part of the world. And sometimes we don't talk about it because maybe we are ashamed of it, or maybe because it's like an hidden word, or because nobody want to talk about immigration. But you need to move. That's the thing. Like you have to move from one part of the world, whether you like it or not, to another part of the world, and we need to talk about it. A little bit about me. I immigrated to Canada about 10 years ago. I started a business through my own garage. I built it to about $5 million revenue. I was tired of that. I moved to immigration space, and now I'm building technology to solve global mobility problem. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom of 3, so I have 3 teenagers. I'm a wife as well. Well, the pain point that we're trying to solve is basically to remove complex, outdated, error-prone immigration process. A lot of people get in trouble today just because of an error committed by someone helping you, a friend, or YouTube helping you with your immigration process, God help you. And of course, we see a lot of high rejections rate due to that. A lot of documentation problem, especially I practice in Canada, and a lot in US, even now that I'm involved in the US space. The manual reviews, labor intensive, this is AI era, we are tired of that. I'm tired of service industry, that's why I'm moving towards the technology space because we need to change that. And this is how we're doing it, is how to actually use LLM to solve most of those mundane tasks we do daily, using all these tools, context-aware document review, where when you actually present your document to the AI tools, it takes out information from your passport, from bank statement, things we use for immigration daily, kind of take out those information and use it to generate information on your application and actually tell you that, oh, your bank statement is not valid. A lot of immigration problem comes from basically they verify your documents. Some people use very fraudulent documents with immigration. Part of the tools we're building is actually to be able to detect those type of documents that are fraudulent. Also, we are using these tools to build something majorly assisting you through the process on the B2B side and as well as on the B2C side. B2C side is basically you and I applying for immigration, while the B2B would also to be able to help legal experts working in the immigration space to be able to remove all these edits without having to actually physically do the work or manually do the work. The impact of this would basically, it reduces the average application time between the time you submit your application and remove all the error. It reduces as low as 5% for the error to happen. We know AI won't be perfect until maybe we don't know soon. And also for the average time you spend on a case, it reduces to less than 1 hour. And that will really, really go a long way to be able to process more application. Security is so key when you're working like with people's data and information. It is important that we're compliant with the security as well as we are making sure that data privacy laws are followed in each country. What this means for global mobility is basically it's help us to empower users to be able to take control of their applications. So you are able to take control of your application. The immigration expert helping you through your application is able to also take control of those applications and then kind of minimize, reduce the time significantly and then bring higher returns in terms of what you produce. This industry is super huge and we understand that we could look at it as, oh, maybe there's nothing there, but it's a really big market. It's as big as $100 billion. Over 20 million people move abroad, especially to top 10 countries every year. And our intention is to be able to capture 100,000 users in the next 2 years. So far, even from building our MVP that is live right now, we've been able to hit 50K in the last 4 months in revenue, and that's just from a basic MVP that we built, and we're growing and scaling through partnerships. What we're building here is not just a visa application platform. What we want to do is actually to use, leverage AI to be able to actually build something that changes the way we move, and because it's what we needed. In the next couple of months, we are looking at be able to actually deploy a beta version of the AI version of what we're building, and that will be before the end of 2025. Part of what we're building with Skuli is also because we are a marketplace, so we're also building a cross-border payment solution and credit reporting, especially for international students. Where you're new to a country, you're trying to figure things out, but we're able to actually build solutions that will help you to be able to build your credit, open a bank account before you get to your destination country, be able to transact, move money, pay tuition, pay for housing, pay for things that you would normally not be able to do due to all the KYC restriction in those countries. Right now, we're raising our 500K in pre-seed round. We have about 150 committed, and that would take us to a $2 million in revenue by 2026. We're also, I hear a lot of technical people in the room when the mic was going around. We're looking for, we're hiring a CTO right now, and also hiring AI specialists and engineers. If you're in the room, just talk to me later, connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to chat with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kemi. Okay, so our next speaker is Yuanta. He has built a crowdsourced knowledge base, and I think it's a really interesting project where everybody can upload documents and have it be read by AI, and we will use that to kind of share knowledge with each other. I think it's a very cool project. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Yuanta, and so I'm here to present this product called KB Hub, which is a crowdsourced knowledge powered by AI. So basically, I'm here more like sharing the journey like I built, because I'm sure like you have been using or heard many similar products in the market, but we are just trying to get our hands dirty and do something about it. So like, why did we have such idea? Like initially, like several months back, we really like Google Notebook LM, but then we were questioning, like, I mean, they are famous for their audio, like so the podcast. We are thinking like whether the efficiency of audio is like high compared to like text, because like I think we text every day, so maybe doing text could be better. Yeah, and also like we thought their founding team members left, so maybe there's slight chance. But of course, like recently they launched a lot of new features, which are very cool. And our own requirements, like we do like read a lot of PDFs every day, like to speed up our like research and study. And sometimes we also want to know like whether the AI can tell something like we don't know, like we don't know. So maybe that's something they could do about it. And we do also collaborate with a lot of other organizations, like small groups, cross organizations, and using like one single messenger, like I don't know, like Slack or Lark or something, like sometimes could be like a little bit troublesome. So we are thinking of, okay, maybe we could get something like on that, like since we have the manpower. So like we thought, our goal is first building an AI-powered collaborative knowledge platform. So basically like just this product, something simple. And also our second goal is to get our hands dirty, like to build this AI product end to end, because we do have some experience about the mobile development or web app, but not about really the AI product. But I mean, of course, like AI product could be like straightforward, like in terms of understanding, because there are a lot of data, and then AI layer which help you to do something, then user will use it. I mean, like, so we thought, okay, yeah, we can start. So we just name our product KB Hub, which is short for knowledge base hub. So if you want to search, I mean, you can just go to kbhub.com, like it's available there. Right. So now I'll just do a quick demo, like about very quick showcase. Yeah. So here, like this is the KB Hub, like which I logged in. Let's just try to create like a new hub. Let's say we just we have some. Okay, let's just try to like upload these few documents which I just downloaded today from Amazon. So they have their annual report. Let's say this is showcase. And like the good thing is like you can either share with your friends or link. Alternatively, you can do that like by making it public. So everyone who come to the platform will be able to see it. Yeah. So okay. So now like I just made it public, and let's come here. So like from another browser. So I'm here to look at Explore. So this is the showcase. So I just click on it. I was just sign in using another account, and here I am like I can join the knowledge base, which so I can start to collaborate with like other people. Yeah. So basically, yeah. I mean, yeah. So now we can see like okay. So in the backend, like we do have some worker processing these documents. So like you can see 2 have already been processed and 2 are still being processed. Like it's just like so we have a Python service on AWS EC2 like doing all these things. Yeah. Okay, now okay it's finished. Yeah, so it's finished processing. Like starting to type will just create a new conversation. So let me just try to ask a simple question like how is Amazon doing in the past few years? Okay, right. So under the hood, we are doing like some R&D search, and then collaborate with. I mean, could be some other information like the chat history, or I mean, yeah. So then it will give me like all this analysis. So like because all these reports, it could be like very lengthy and like a lot of information. So like so this can help to do that. Yeah, you can of course like invite like another another person inside. So like I can see that directly. We can start to talk. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here's a simple demo, and let me come back to this presentation. So yeah, like I mean, it's not a very fancy product, but we just having these features like knowledge base plus chat. So that's the basic things with all the data and communication. Yeah. And we do support various kinds of documents. Primarily, we do want to like do PDF and TXTs. But with like some other helpers, like the Markdown library from Microsoft, of course, like there are many other libraries. We can do like a lot of other like docs, PTX, or any of those, even audio. I think, yeah. And the more important thing is about collaboration. So we can start to collaborate with different group of friends or colleagues, or like from cross organization, which doesn't really require a lot of registration step or whatsoever. And it could be private, it could be public. So yeah, it's something like that. Like yeah, because I'm the only one working on that, so we just only allow Google login and not integrated with other like doc apps at the moment. Maybe in the future, yeah, because that's like a trend in a lot of other similar apps. Right. So how we foresee like several possible use cases, like what I showed just now was financial report analysis. Of course, like if you are doing some short-term projects, you can put up all your documents inside, and like yeah, I mean because if different people could have different documents, then coming together, you can maybe like start to discuss without looking. I mean, everyone looking at everything. Yeah. And also like it could be useful for research paper like study, and or like reading books, customer support. I mean, maybe you have a lot of good documents in your organization. It could be a small org. So like yeah, you can just dump in some documents. I mean, I think this week I'm going to support URLs. So then we'll script all the things then put inside, so it could be even easier, right? All right. Okay, I'll just jump into a little bit technical details. Okay, but maybe I'll skip through a little bit. So I mean, the flow is straightforward. You could see like upload resources, analysis, and chat. Yeah, so that's simple. So I just upload is pretty straightforward. Just use AWS at the back with S3 to store all the documents and Postgres to store the records. And the second step about the analysis, the analysis of the documents. So we are using some, a Python service running on with several workers. So like each worker will take the task in the queue, split into chunks, create the embedding of it, then generate some summary, extract some information, combine, and proceed. Yeah, so that's pretty like the standard RAG, pre-RAG flow. So here is about the chat. Like we did something like in the beginning, which is to try to detect the intention and potentially split into some sub-queries. And then we'll like create embedding for each, compare with what we have in the embedding of the document chunks. And then we'll do some re-ranking and select. Then yeah, so that's results we are getting together. The other information could be like something else. Could be some prompts. Could be some like the chat history or whatsoever. Yeah. So that's pretty straightforward. I think I'll skip these slides. Yeah, I want to share more about the mistakes I did during the process. Yeah. Because yeah, like I myself, I'm from more like backend and infra software engineer background. Yeah. So like initially, I think PDF data extraction, yeah, it's hard, but how hard can it be? But there are a lot of corner cases, especially like some special characters, and especially when it comes to like OCR, because not every PDFs are text-based, and also like how to, even if it's text-based, how to handle the image or table data inside well is a different story. Chunking strategy is a new thing to me because initially I thought, okay, like just split into anything, but of course, like the request to the AI providers, they have their limit, and the size of the chunks could matter, and also the language, it might also affect the results. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so like, okay, I just talked about one last thing is RAG, like, because initially I thought, okay, just do the embedding, get the similarity, and you get the results. But I forgot the important thing is the original text. You have to put the original text of that embedding, dump into the AI model, and yeah. Anyway, so the prototype initially I built took me like half day because like vibe coding almost like 95%. But the first MVP, which was almost working, took me 2 weeks. But now, like the full product right now, it took me about like 10 weeks, like no overtime because just trying to, yeah. But I spent a lot of things on the chat functionality and learning the front end, the new framework. Yeah. All right. So, okay, like so. Just last word about the company. So we are called the TUC. Who we are? We are a small team, we're just trying to do something interesting. So these 3 are our existing products, which are some mobile apps. If you're ever interested, you can take a look. Yeah, like they are not really AI based, but the adventure is AI based. But yeah, in case you are interested. So yeah, yeah, like if you are ever interested in talking to me, like you can add me on LinkedIn, or you can join our Telegram user group, yeah, or you can just give a try of kbhub.com, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and okay, so yeah, our next speaker is Julian, who will be talking to us about LLM evaluations, and Julian, I would say, is a thought leader in language in the utilization of AI in Singapore. And actually, whenever I have trouble, sometimes I look at some of his blog posts. So I'm really happy to have him here to talk to us at the Singapore AI Showcase. So without further ado, Julian. Here's the mic. You can just put it anywhere. Yeah, yes, there's good. Actually, yeah, anywhere is good. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm Julian. So Today I'll be talking about evals for prompts as well as models. So how many of you have heard of the word eval or have used it? Nice. So yeah, we found a few target audience for my talk. But of course, if you're not familiar with evals, I'll give you an introduction of what it is. Okay, so let's give a short introduction for myself first. I was a software engineer working for 5 years for Grab and Ant Group. And then in 2022, I resigned and built my first startup focused on using AI to play games. That's before ChatGPT came out. So I built 3 games where you can basically play the game using AI. I thought that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I didn't make a lot of money. So I moved on to build my second startup, which is 16x Prompt. It's like an AI coding tool. I made some money from that. Then Cursor came out, so I decided to pivot again to my third startup, which is 16x Eval, which I will talk about later. So first, I want to talk about Eval first. This is from Amanda Escal. She's a person responsible for cloud model behavior and characters building. So I think this quote is very powerful. So if you want to build a good system, basically you don't write the system prompt and then find a way to test it. You write down the test and find the system prompt that passed the test. I feel like this is a very good way of thinking about how to do model evaluation or building AI products in general. You want to write your test cases for your AI system, which are called evals. And then you build your AI product to pass those evals. In this way, your AI product can actually work. Next, I will talk about some of the problems I have seen with the benchmarks and the popular evals we have seen. So many of you who are AI researchers or practitioners, you might have seen this paper called the leaderboard illusion. So this is a paper that recently came out that talk about why some of the benchmark like the LLM arena are not so good because people are gaming the system. One particular LLM provider sent 10 or 20 different model variants to the same benchmark and then cherry pick the best performing model. So that caught a lot of people red-handed, I would say. And then there's also overfitting risk and then reward hacking and all that things. That caused all these benchmarks you see when you see a new model, there will always be benchmark numbers. Actually, these benchmark numbers are getting less and less reliable as we speak. So I'll give you an example. Aider benchmark was one of the leading benchmarks that was cited by major providers like Google to showcase their coding capabilities. But here's my personal investigation into Aider benchmark. I realized that it was using Exisystem dataset, which was from 2023. And then if you look closely, then you will see that the newer models like GPT 2.5 or Gemini 2.5 Pro and the newer Cloud 4 models that just came out, they have a data cutoff date after that. So that means effectively all this data are already in their training set. So this benchmark is literally not measuring too much. Also, these are very basic coding problems that doesn't measure the real world coding performance. And then also more recently with the Cloud 4 benchmark, I think that just came out 2 days ago. Actually, Cloud 4 models perform very poorly on Aider, but it was actually performing very well for a lot of developers. So this further proved that benchmarks like Aider are kind of a thing of a past, right? And then I'll quickly address some of the popular evals that people use to evaluate models and the problem with these evals. So one common question that people like to ask is how many R's in Strawberry? I've actually written a blog post on this that is ranking very well on Google, which explains why LLMs struggle with this problem. Basically, the LLMs are using tokens, which are integer numbers like 1,235 instead of the characters. So the models actually don't see the characters. They can't count number of R's literally. So that's actually an inherent limitation of the model instead of the measure of the model's intelligence. The second example of 9.9 versus 9.11 is also a popular eval that people like to joke about. But if you think about it from a software engineering perspective, 9.9 and 9.11 might not actually be numbers, right? They can mean version numbers. Like for example, if you have a game that released 9.9, and then you release 9.10 and release 9.11, you will see that 9.11 is actually bigger than 9.9, right? And then also in terms of Bible verse, it's the same thing for book chapters. And then third example is people always like to ask the model to draw a ball inside a spinning hexagon, and this I would say is a zero-shot problem that does not represent real-world coding tasks. So those are the problems with popular evals. And then moving on from the models and evals, I'll talk about prompts. So these are all my personal experiments. I run with different kind of prompts and models and found out that prompt engineering is actually not trivial. So here in one example, I found that when I use the same prompt version 1 with Cloud 3.5 Sonnet, it gave me a very good result. But when I tried to use it on Cloud 3.7 Sonnet, the real result was pretty bad. So I concluded that, actually you cannot reuse the same prompt for different versions of this model, even when they are coming from the same provider, right? So you have to for 3.7 Sonnet, you have to iterate on the prompt and then add more detailed instructions like no full code to get back the same type of response. So newer models are not necessarily better, but they're definitely different. And also more apparently is that different model providers have different behaviors as well. So if you tried using the same prompt for 3.5 Sonnet, and then you try the same prompt with Gemini 2.5 Pro, you'll realize that 2.5 Pro is very, very verbose compared to Sonnet models. So you want to add more instructions to your prompt to make sure that you get back the same concise response. So this different formulas that basically mean that model from different providers have different characteristics that you should be aware of. And the third problem with the prompts is that for different type of tasks, you need to use different type of prompts. So basically for coding, you realize that if you add the word be concise to the prompt and then use it with Gemini 2.5 Pro, you get a very good result. But if you try to tell the model to be concise in the writing task, you'll get back writing that is too concise, right? So that's a problem with reusing the same prompt for the same model for different tasks. So this also doesn't work very well. So different type of tasks actually require different styling instructions. So this is, I just made this slide this morning. As I woke up and take a shower, I realized this is my current mental model of thinking about prompts and models. It's actually, I treat them as a jigsaw puzzle, right? So on the right side, like model is almost a complete jigsaw puzzle, just missing a few pieces. And then the prompt are the missing pieces of puzzle to complete the jigsaw puzzle, which is actually the problem or task you want to try to solve. So let's say you want to write a new article. You need both the base model and the prompt to work really well together to solve the problem. If one of these are mismatching with each other, you won't get a good result. So this is how I think people should think about it. And there are also other variables when you try to do eval. I think one of the input that people tend to overlook is the temperature. Basically, the gist is that if you are trying to solve a deterministic problem like coding, you want your temperature to be very low, close to 0, so that you get a deterministic output. But for creative writing like fiction, you want the temperature to be 1, so that you get more variations in terms of writing. Obviously, there are other things that you can measure. And for some AI applications, you might want to measure the latency or the reliability of the provider because your app is mission critical. So these are the input and output variables. In summary, I think benchmark performance is useless if the model cannot solve our real problems, right? Which brings me to my main point is that we need personalized evals on our own real world problems. And I'm not just making this up, right? Anthropic also have a document that says you need to create your own benchmark test specific to your use cases, and then test from there, right? Okay, so this is the part where I do the demo of how I attempt to solve this problem with a new app that I built, which is called 16x eval. Okay, sorry, very fast demo. Okay.
16 times faster.
Okay, let's say we want to evaluate different models' performance on the image, right? How well they understand image. Let's go ahead and create a new eval. Okay, so basically I can add a context from a library of existing context I already imported. So for example, in my case, I want to add a photo that I took from my recent trip to Japan. And then I want the model to describe what happened in the image. Basically, you can see that the water bottle is kind of compressed. So you want to test whether the model understands why the water bottle was compressed, right? So I go ahead and select a few models here to see what's their different output. And then I run the evaluation. So this will run the same prompt and the same context to all the different models and then get back the results. And then I have an evaluation function which actually evaluates if they hit certain keywords like pressure or Japanese or airplane, things like that. And then I can see which model performed the best. So you can see here for Gemini 2.5 Pro, it actually understands the air pressure and all that. So this is a very good model, and I will rate it 9 out of 10, right? And then for Sonnet, it's kind of, it didn't get the pressure part of the thing. It just identifies as a green tea bottle. So it's less good, and I will give it maybe a 6 out of 10. So this is basically how you use the app to rate different models. And obviously, this is for evaluating models. You can do the same for prompts. So that's the demo of I have a side step that I will skip. And then, yeah, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn or visit the 16x eval website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Janelle. Can I have the... Oh. All right. Sorry. Next time we should just tape this microphone to the other microphone. Okay. So yeah, we'll have Pradyu next, who will talk about calibrate debate, right? And I think debating is something like you kind of do when you're in high school and you kind of forget about it. But it is kind of like a structured way for us to argue with each other. And it turns out that I think it's pretty fun for LLMs to do the same thing, right? So, yeah, awesome.
Okay,
sorry. Just keep it here. Or you can
Okay, how's everyone doing? So I'm going to talk to you about something that I find really fun. And this is not really technical, so those of you who may feel left out can also join. But those of you who want some real, want the more technical stuff can come talk to me after this, or my co-author Min, who is there. Everyone say hi to Min. So here's what we have. It's 2 language models enter a debate, and both leave thinking they won, right? And this is kind of weird. So imagine that we clone me, and I'm Pradyu here. We had Pradyu 2 come stand next to me, and Pradyu 2 and I debate on something, right? And in theory, I shouldn't be too confident Pradyu 1 that is going to win versus Pradyu 2 because we're the same person, right? It's a coin flip. Best case, I win. Best, sometimes he wins, right? So if I believe that I'm going to defeat Pradyu 2 100% of the time, you would say I'm overconfident. And if Pradyu 2 believes he's going to defeat me 100% of the time, you would say we're both kind of crazy. But we tested this exact same scenario with multiple language models that you probably use. And we have some bad news. Language models are extremely irrationally confident even when they know they're debating themselves. Okay? So this is really weird. And for example, I got Pradyu 2 to stand, and I asked Pradyu 2, how likely do you think you're going to win before seeing any arguments of mine? 50% is the only correct answer here. He's the same guy as me. But their answer was 65%, extremely overconfident. Suppose I argue that, for example, we should, let me pick a fun example. We should abolish all tariffs, right? And Pradyu 2 argues we should have more tariffs. I hear some good arguments from Pradyu 2. He hears some good arguments from me. Arguably, one might argue that
we should become less confident, right? Because we've got some good arguments from the other person, and we'd be like, oh, maybe the judge will argue, will agree, maybe to him or maybe to me. But language models become even more confident every time, even though they know they're debating themselves. And I want you to take a few moments and think of stuff you do with language models that are not debate but debate-y. Like you ask it to read a paper and think of arguments against it. Or you ask it to open your code and then ask it to see if there are any bugs or any security issues. You're doing something similar to this, and your language model probably is just going to reinforce whatever bias you give it in the start, right? And you may have seen the whole OpenAI sycophancy issue a few weeks ago, where ChatGPT just says yes to everything you say. This is a structured way of testing a very similar thing. Not the same thing, but something similar, right? And this is extremely, extremely weird. I will show this, and we tried out many, many experimental conditions. They debate themselves. They debate other models. Even when you know that your debates are open to the other guy, and you know that the other guy is betting 80% that he will win, you know what this model says? It says, I bet 85%. They're just confident, they just escalate their confidence every single time, and there's no stopping to this. So in fact, my co-author Min had a cool idea. What if we tell them that your odds of winning are 50%, don't bet too much? And actually in the first round, they don't bet above 50, it's close, roughly 50. But even in this, in every round of debate, as a debate progresses, you go from opening, rebuttal, and final speech, they become more confident by the end of it. So it's just super hard to remove this self-confidence bias from language models. And to give you an analogy, like how many of you guys have seen those surveys which say that 50% of men believe they can beat a gorilla or a tiger? How many of you have seen that? A language model is basically doing this. It's being told, here are all the reasons why you shouldn't expect to win. And at the end of the debate, it's saying, you know what? I'll win. So this is like really weird. And this thing you knew that language models are confident, like overconfident. And the part you didn't know is that language models are terrible at updating their confidence too. Okay? And here's a cool graph showing what different language models do. And you can see here there's some cool patterns. So we tested a wide range of models. The Claude Sonnet there is a 3.7 Sonnet and not 3.5. But you can see, for example, that DeepSeek R1 Distill, a very, very small model, 14B only, starts off with a very high confidence level. It starts off at 75 or 78, right? On the other hand, Gemini Flash starts off with a well below 50. Right? But it still also escalates its confidence. So the first thing I want to realize over this is that you should probably test your models, as our previous speaker talked about. Even though different models have different confidence escalations, they start off at different places and they update by different amounts. The other thing you want to realize is that even very, very smart models like O3 Mini, which beats, I think, every single model here on every benchmark, also updates 10%. And it updates more than GPT-4o Mini, which is to say that while language models may solve the problem of next token prediction and coding very hard things, they're still very bad at doing things like metacognition, right? So I guess the moral of the story is just that you should, really, really think about how you use your models. And we tried some hypotheses. My hypothesis is that you should, language models show extreme self-confirmation bias, which is not a psychology term, I made it up. But the main point is they never model what the opponent is going to do. And I spent a lot of time reading transcripts, which is very fun. Always read it's quite fun to see. And we found out some really cool examples. Both models are debating the same thing, the same model, okay? And you can see in round one, they argue that, hey, here's why I think I'm going to win, and here's why and why vice versa. Same model arguing against itself. You can see by round three, they expect a 90% chance of winning. And so this should make you really, really wonder that we haven't managed to solve the real hard problem of metacognition in AI. And why do you care, right? Why this matters to you? The first point is that you are probably or will use a language model agent at some point of time now or in the future. Right? ChatGPT with search, O3 with search is a language model agent. If you tell O3, I think X thing is really bad, and O3 finds a different article saying X is actually good, Odds are it's probably not going to tell you that which it finds in the article, because the training incentives of language models make it that it doesn't count opposing information, right? So you should be very concerned about this, and you shouldn't be giving your models a specific bias or direction to argue towards. And this is much harder than you think, mostly because humans are very argumentative. If you tell someone, I think this is true, and especially if you tell a high school student or an undergrad, of which I have met many, they will challenge you. And this is something that language models won't do. They are very, very sycophantic, and they're very poor at doing this. And finally, right, the answer I want to tell you, the moral of the story of all these cool debate experiments is that do not ever, ever, ever give your language models any idea of what you think, what you believe in. Otherwise, they'll probably confirm it, and you won't go any further like our two debaters who kept arguing the same opposite thing with complete certainty. So I hope this was fun to you. I hope you learned something new from this, or at least enjoyed the weird debate transcript I put. You can catch up with me and my co-author Min. The QR code for the paper is on the left. It's on archive now, and we've submitted to NeurIPS. I'm on Twitter at Pradyu Prasad. I tweet about AI policy and stuff, I guess. Min runs a startup that builds evals with Frontier Labs on agents, so this thing is related to him. But yeah, I guess we have some time now, so if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. No, the reasoning models are actually worse. So there's we tested two reasoning models. The first one is a distilled DeepSeek R1 onto a Qwen 14B. And qualitatively from the data, it shows probably because it's trained only on math and coding things, it shows almost no nuance, and it's extremely focused on saying, I will win, and that's it. But there's some models that do better. There was Gemini Flash, which is extremely self-critical, as was shown in the graph. There's also Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which does pretty good in the. By the time we get to other ablations, it shows pretty close to 50% confidence, and I think it's like you can probably fix the initial overconfidence, but my guess is that as you add more and more tokens, language models do not have this bias towards being positive. There are many hypotheses we have for this, but my best guess is that the RLHF makes them unlikely to tell the user that you're wrong or something like that. Yeah.
So when I try to say to AI, I think you're wrong, sometimes it corrects back to the right answer. So in your debate, does any of this AI debater ever try to say that I think you're wrong, and the other respond back to, oh, actually you might be right?
Yeah, so the answer is like some models do this, but I don't think debate is a good test of that condition, because when you're debating, you want to maintain public face that I'm winning. So which is why we separate the public speech versus the private thoughts and the bets which are private. So the answer is yes, it happens, but this is the wrong place to test that question. Yep.
Given startup founders in the room that know there's low probability of succeeding, but you have to have irrational confidence in order to succeed, or even to become a professional athlete, and what small percentage of the people, in order to think you can, you have to irrational confidence. So what are your thoughts on whether or not this is actually a bug versus a feature?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there are two things here. The first is that most users are not looking to do low probability, high impact bets. So to that use case, this is probably a bug. The second point is that you may want models to be optimistic, and this is very much a philosophical question of what you want to steer your humans towards. But the optimism probably should not be in debating whether taxes are low or high. Even if it is useful, I don't think for these policy debate topics it should be so. The other thing is that, so to be more technical, the prompt we used elicited models to place a bet from $0 to $100, and we told them that they would win the amount they bet. So actually, so they are not being startup kind of I would say, exuberant. They are being more of betting exuberant, which is a different, more negative thing. Yeah, they're betting high amounts of money on low odds. Whereas a startup is a different sort of, you're betting high amounts of money with, sorry, you're betting low amounts of money with low odds but high payoffs. Yeah, I think we're out of time now, so I hope you enjoyed this. Follow me on Twitter for more takes.
Thank you. So there are many developers in the room. So just to show of hands, how many people use Pydantic? Okay. Still have people using Pydantic. So our next speaker is Raj. So he's going to tell us how to be faster with Pydantic.
Thanks, Tati. So let me try to set this up.
Oh, you need the mic.
Wow, for 8 minutes. It's a lot of speaking. Yeah, so I guess today I'll be showcasing Satya itself, which is basically.
It's okay. Oh, good. Continue.
Don't need to worry.
No.
Okay. Which is currently the fastest Pythonic validation library that I created, and I'll just run through what it is, what it does, and why it's important. There are a lot of high data ingestion workloads that are going through everyone's data pipelines, and one of the biggest chokeholds are really validations when it comes to data augmentation, as well as just ensuring that the data validity is valid. Basically what I did was it's purely written in Rust, and then it's Pyo3 binded to Python itself. The reason why it's so fast is something I'll cover later, but primarily it takes everything as a streaming byte integer, and it processes that on the CPU buffer itself, rather than taking everything like chunk by chunk. Yeah. It was actually created to support another library that I made, which is one of the fastest inference clients that uses something similar under the hood. It's Rust Pydantic binded, and it uses a small model that's powered by Matleads to ensure that different variational buffer sizes are allocated. It basically optimizes based on the chunk size that's coming through. Why another validation framework? I think one of the biggest reasons is that nowadays we are having more APIs and ML workloads which require more structured type outputs. We need lower latencies to ensure better performance both for users as well as data validation pipelines. We have a lot of streaming data that's been one of the biggest pushes of what the AI revolution is. And existing libraries are pretty hard to optimize, like Pydantic itself or MSG spec. They do things in a single record focused way. So yeah, that's why I created it. So currently you're entering the agentic age, whereby workloads aren't just related to crowd operations, but there's a lot of dynamic and compute intensive workloads that are coming out. Your APIs are agentic. You have MCPs, you have A2As, you have synthetic data generations that's starting to take root, and all of these require really high throughputs to give a very good and easy user experience. And structured data is now becoming the interface for a lot of interactions, whether you like it or not. And I think this is my personal take, that validations is how we basically enforce mathematical truths on data to ensure that they don't go out of bounds and they don't screw things up for us. So I made Satya, which is basically, it has all of these validations built in. If you try it out and if it fails in certain constraints, you can tell me about it. A very quick run through is just that the input data is basically streamed to a Pythonic API that then goes to the Rust engine. It validates it as it streams through, and basically with that it either tells you if it's valid or invalid with a report on why it's invalid, as well as what you can do to fix it. Yeah, the performance is crazy. You can't see Satya at all. That's Pydantic. So the lower the better, basically. Yeah, this is comparing Satya to other providers, MSG Spec and Pydantic. And this is something I'll do a quick demo of in real time. This is basically batching 1 million requests a second and seeing how the performance of different validation libraries looks like. So let me just do it real quick. IRL. Yeah, so basically what we're gonna do is it big enough? Let me. Yeah, so we're gonna run 1 million events a minute and to see if we can actually keep the validation overhead at less than 5%. we're gonna mix like valid and invalid data, and basically we're gonna like see how the user events are and see if there is a bottleneck that is created. So let's just run all. Let me generate the data in real time as well in front of you guys. So this is where I'll generate the data. Let's just say we have 5 batches with a 5% error rate. This is gonna run it on all 3 libraries. And we can just visualize it here real quick. So yeah, this just happened like in real time as well. So yeah, it's almost twice as fast as MSG spec, which is currently the fastest like validation library. It's written fully in C. And yeah, the success rate is actually even higher than Pydantic as well as MSG spec. It's like at 100%. You can like check it out yourself if unlike mine. It's fully open source. Yeah. And yeah, it's about twice as fast as MSG spec and 16% faster than Pydantic. But back to the presentation itself. Yeah, this is how it looked like over time and batch sizes as well. And memory usage, yes. So one of the things I also realized was that it's very important to keep memory low, especially when you're like compute strained or when you don't have enough RAM. This was it, doing it for I think 2 to 3 gigs of just data streaming like at the same time, and it actually maintained it across like different batch sizes, and that's comparing it with like the current like the best library there is, and it actually manages to do that because it batches things internally within like the Rust buffers themselves. Yeah, so you can like what this is trying to show is that you can exponentially increase your batch size without affecting performance for the library. Yeah, and yeah, this is how you use yeah, it has a much simpler DevX as well as compared to Pydantic. This is how you would do batch processing in Pydantic, and this is how you do it in like Satya. And the cool thing is it's a one-to-one replacement. You can just like change the code out and it should work out of the box. Yeah. And this is just showcasing like other types of validations like decimals, arrays, and yeah, things like that. It's also interesting that as the batch size changes for different kinds of workloads, the performance also changes. So that was something that I did not expect at all. So yeah, that's also cool. Yeah. Oh, and I'm also building like, so these two are also open source libraries. Turbo API is actually built with Satya, so it basically changes the validation like syntax that Fast API has. Fast API is very strictly typed to Pydantic. So this actually allows you to use MSG spec or any of your favorite validation libraries out of the box. Yeah. So yeah, it could be used for literally anything data related, validation specifically, and yeah, you can just pip install it like to try it out. Yeah, and yeah, thanks for your time.
Sorry? Yeah, does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
One question. So I use the Pydantic to specify a structure output from VLM. Can I do the same way using Satya?
Oh yeah, wait, that was one of the demos, my bad. Yes, you can. I was gonna show that, okay, but yeah, I think time cons. I did have a demo with that, like, I think it's on localhost 8000. Yeah, you can kind of do that. So this is like creating synthetic data as well. And it's like reading data through it. I think it's not connected to OpenAI, but yeah, by right it'll do it like immediately on the right side. Yeah. So you could you can also specify like the exact structure as well when you want to do a structured output call to an API provider. Yeah. Thanks. No one else?
2 more questions?
2 more. One, but no one wants to ask it.
Daniel has a question.
So let's say for Satya for the validation of it, how difficult is it to scale it to just generic validation, or do you need to actually add new types and all that?
I think it still has
How difficult is it to maintain those?
Ooh. Are we gonna use it internally? I think it's typed at the very first like start itself. So when you actually like use or you define your types at the start, it will be very tightly typed to a degree. But in terms of using it after the type has been defined, I think it'll just be changing how the structure. It's like basically version management for like your SQL stuff, I guess. So you have to like redefine the validation library, like the validation strings and integers and the nests that follow every time the schema changes.
What is the main risk of organization adopting Satya?
I don't know, we can try it out.
Actually, wait. On like a assembly level basis, why is Satya so much faster? Is it just because like the Rust compiles better to better assembly code?
No, so I did run like a lot of experiments on that part. I think what really makes it faster is that it streams the data bits as bytes and bits basically, and other validation libraries don't do that. And the cool thing with types is that usually in the first 4/8 byte of bit, you actually get a type out, and that way it quickly assigns it and it quickly registers it. Therefore, it even processes the whole sequence. And I ran like multiple tests with different sorts of data to see if it's valid, and it was valid. So I was like, shit, like, this is cool.
So this is a Rust library that you're just wrapping in Python for like
for ML people. Yeah.
Okay, so the last talk is a bonus talk. It's not actually on the event, and of course, this is quite a special talk, I think, for us. So those of you who are early, you will have saw a QR code at the start of the event. Basically, we transcribe this whole event like real time, and it's been transcribing the whole event. So today was the first time we stress tested, and so yeah, we were doing real time transcription on our own silicon, and getting it to the front end. And Daniel Ching is the person who made all of this happen, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about how this thing works. But yeah, I mean, as a speech researcher, I find this incredibly cool. I think like this kind of capability to transcribe speech. I mean, actually, those of you who still have the URL on your phone. So the reason why we didn't share it more, because if everybody here now logs in, right, it will crash. So so we stress test it one time. Yeah. So there's too many people here. Yeah. So yeah, it's working here. So you can see now as I'm talking, it is transcribing what I'm saying, right? And so yeah, Daniel will tell us more about how this is happening. Yeah.
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel Cheng from Menlo Research, and actually, just when Jiaqi introduced me, the site actually crashed. So, previously what you could see just now was that there was actually like multiple lightning talks. So like this was actually giving like an entire summary of like everything that has been said so far. But I think that's just the library announcement. But yeah, essentially what this should have done was just kind of like summarize all of the lightning talks, and I think I'll just go a bit into detail about like how this worked out of the box. Oh yeah, so you can see that it's actually transcribing the announcement as well. Anyway, so the audio flow, how it works is that we actually have like a DJI mic here, so that's connected to my laptop right there. And so my laptop's actually running like live streaming at the moment too. So the audio is piped from this DJI mic into my laptop, and what it's doing, it's kind of running like two separate scripts. So the first script is like the self-hosted transcription that Jiaqi was talking about, and the second script is actually going to pass the audio data through Gemini 2.0 Flash Live. And then essentially what it's doing is that it's going to pipe these two concurrent streams of data to the front end using fast HTML, and then we serve it with ngrok, because I did not want to bother with like the deployment issue. So essentially what ngrok does is that it creates a tunnel to my localhost 8000. Yeah, so I'm just going to dive a bit deeper. So the transcription is actually running on Menlo's RTX 4090 that's actually hosted in like Kaki Bukit, I think. So we actually have like a Whisper Small model that's loaded, and the Whisper Small is actually a 2 to 4 million parameter model. And actually what we tried just now, like Jiaqi and I tried just now, is that if we tried speaking in like Chinese to this like real-time transcription thing, it would actually kind of work and translate it out of the box. So that was some kind of like new feature that we actually didn't expect. But I'm not going to try it now because my Chinese sucks. So I think going a bit into like what it looks like technically. So it actually accumulates like 2 seconds of audio before sending. And what you're essentially doing is like converting the raw audio bytes before sending it to an endpoint, like a single API endpoint in a compatible WAV format. So Alex on our team, who's based in Vietnam, actually cooked up this endpoint that accepts the audio as WAV files, and it's actually just sending post requests to like a speech-to-text endpoint. So some of you guys might be actually a bit curious as to why it's just like a post request, but and not like WebRTC or WebSocket. So essentially, when you're dealing with like audio connections, what you would want to do in a production setting is actually try to use WebSocket or WebRTC, and that's actually like what a lot of players like OpenAI and Google do. So they actually use like WebSockets or WebRTC, but because the RTX 4090 is running a small model, so that's why you can actually see it output the thing so quickly. Yeah, so I think that's something that I found personally very interesting. And yes, just to add on for the real-time transcription part, you can actually swap this out with like a SpeechMatics endpoint. So prior to loading our internal model and calling like our internal API, what I did was actually just use the SpeechMatics live real-time API to kind of transcribe it like word by word as well. So how SpeechMatics does it is through a WebSocket connection. So for the summary on the right, how it's actually summarizing real time is that it's using Gemini's 2.0 Flash Live endpoint. So essentially, like you have the same audio stream going to the mic. It would collect audio and then send the audio every 20 seconds. And then, sorry, I can't demonstrate this right now because it bugged out. But what I was doing while I was sitting there is just like essentially just like clicking a button to trigger like a talk segmentation. So if anybody was on the app just now, you can see like Lightning Talk 1, Lightning Talk 2, but I can't like demo it right now. But yeah, so essentially that's at a high level what the summary is doing. Diving a little bit into the technicals, I think what I wanted to really try out with the live API in this was that, let me just backtrack a bit. Like, to be clear, I don't think that we need necessarily like a live API to do this thing. We can actually just pass it through like a speech to text and then pass that text to a model and then get that model to output the summary. But I think when Google I/O released their models, I think like kind of like last Thursday, was it? I was very impressed, and I just wanted to test the capabilities of the live API endpoint. And so I think some key things to bear in mind was that there's a need for like you to retrieve the session resumption handle. So if you think about it, like Gemini Live API uses WebSockets to maintain your connection, and for Gemini Live, you actually only have a session limit of 10 minutes, and once that 10-minute ends, the WebSocket connection is going to close. So how do you transfer context between a previous chat and like the next chat? That is something to bear in mind. So that was essentially what I implemented here. And I think like the frequency of sending audio, right? Like what is a good amount of time in which you can collect enough audio for you to, for the large language model to make a sensible judgment as to what to summarize. So we decided on 20 seconds. Yeah, so I think that's it. If you guys have any questions about the implementation, feel free to ask.
So do you have to buffer the audio and overlap when you send it? Because
yes, you do.
Otherwise, there's a possibility of just cutting off, right?
Yeah.
Any filtering, because you have environmental factors, noise, background noise, and
so
if you don't get your mic input levels correct, you could mess things
so
up.
actually I think a lot of it under the hood is actually handled by Gemini Live API already, so there's actually like built-in voice activity detection, VAD, that's actually handled server-side by the Gemini Live API endpoint.
How does this compare to the OpenAI real-time API?
Right, so that's a great question. One thing, or like, the main reason why I chose like Gemini's API, Live API, is that it's essentially like 10x cheaper than real-time. And you realize that like OpenAI only released 4.0 real-time as their sole real-time model, but like last week in I/O, Gemini actually, Google released Gemini 2.5 Flash as well. So I think if it's cheaper and kind of better than OpenAI, I think I would. And I guess to add on, why I think it's better also is because you can essentially add like 2 calling with like 2 lines of code, right? If you want to say Go search, you specify Go search in like the config, or like you use code execution in the config as well. It'll do it out of the box for you. Yeah. Anyone else has any questions? Sure.
Sorry, I'm not very familiar with transcription through API. Can you add any prompt to say that, okay, I'm talking in environment programming, so please no.
Oh yeah, I mean, the code base is not on this computer, it's on that one, but essentially, we actually do have prompts to kind of tweak it, yeah. Cool, hope you guys enjoyed the talk, and find me if you have any other questions.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, so unfortunately we have come to the end of today's Singapore AI Showcase. Please come back next month for more amazing lightning talks, and we'll have a new version of this demo up and running. Hopefully, we plan to keep iterating and improving on this idea. Yeah, so there will be an after party after this if anybody wants to stay and talk to everybody else. It will be at the event. It will be at the Bukaka place next month.
Kind of. But I can watch your
I can.